I was halfway through reheating leftover pasta when the knock came. 3 slow knocks. Hesitant. I opened the door. Emily. Her mascara was smudged, eyes red. Can I come in? Yeah, of course. I stepped aside. What happened?
She
Shook her head, brushing wet hair off her face. I don't want to talk about it yet. I couldn't stay there. I closed the door behind her. The rain had followed her in droplets on her jacket. The faint smell of damp fabric and something sweeter, her perfume. You're soaked, I said. I walked here from your place. I didn't want to drive. My hands were shaking. I nodded toward the couch. Sit. I'll get you a towel. When I came back, she had curled into the corner of the couch, hugging her knees. I handed her the towel. Thanks, she murmured, drying her hair. I sat at the other end, giving her space. Emily, you're scaring me. Did Ryan, her head snap toward me? Don't. Not yet. Please. I raised my hands. Okay. No. Questions. For a moment, all I heard was the rain against the window. Then she let out a breath and whispered, It's just, I can't believe the things he said tonight. What did he say? That I'm overdramatic, that I make problems. Out of nothing? That if I'm unhappy, it's my fault. Her voice cracked. He said, I'm exhausting. Emily, I shifted toward her. That's not, she moved before I could finish, leaning against me. Her head found my shoulder like it had been waiting for it. I'm sorry, she said. Softly, I need to not feel alone right now. I didn't answer. I just let her stay there, my arm resting on the back of the couch. I could feel the warmth of her cheek through my shirt. You're warm, she murmured. I chuckled lightly. Probably from running around getting towels. She gave a small laugh, but it faded quickly. You're safe, Nathan. I don't have to explain myself to you. You never do, I said quietly. Her breathing slowed. My hand drifted closer to hers on the couch cushion, close enough for my knuckles to brush her skin. She didn't move. Is this okay? I asked. She nodded. Against my shoulder? Against my shoulder? Yeah. Don't move. The words sent a strange pulse through me. Part comfort, part something I shouldn't feel for a woman with a boyfriend. You ever wish things were different? She asked suddenly. I hesitated. Different how? Her hair brushing my jaw. Like life didn't put people where they are. That it let you choose who mattered? I swallowed. Think everyone wishes that sometimes. She was quiet for a beat. I used to think Ryan was who I'd grow old with. Now I'm not so sure I even know him. I wanted to say, I know you. But my mouth stayed shut. You're lucky, she said softly. Lucky? You don't let people get to you, you know? Who you are? I smirked faintly. Trust me, I'm figuring that out every day. Her fingers twitched, brushing mine. The contact was featherlight, but my pulse jumped. You're shaking, she said. It's cold, I lied. It's not. That cold. Her voice had changed lower, almost teasing, but then she sighed, letting her hand rest still again. I'm sorry, she said. You didn't sign up for my drama tonight. You're not drama, Emily. You're you. She lifted her head just enough to look at me. Our faces were close. Too close for a coworker. Too close for someone else's girlfriend. You're a good man. Nathan, she whispered. I tried to smile. Don't sound so surprised. She actually smiled then, a real one, but it faltered. I should go before I make things worse. You don't have to rush. If I stay any longer, she trailed off, biting her lip. I don't know.
Peace.
I stood when she did, walking her to the door. She pulled on her jacket, still damp from the rain. Thanks for being here, she said. Always. Her eyes lingered on mine. For a second, I thought she'd hug me again, but instead she reached up and straightened the collar of my shirt. The gesture was so intimate it felt like a touch she wasn't supposed to give me. I'll see you tomorrow, she said finally. Yeah, she stepped out into the hallway. I closed the door slowly, my heart still racing. The lock clicked. My phone buzzed on the counter. I walked over, glancing at the screen. It was a name I knew all too well. Ryan Blake, *, the morning meeting felt like it lasted hours. I was talking about campaign projections, but I could feel it. Her eyes, every time I glanced over, Emily was already looking at me, not smiling, not frowning, just looking. When the meeting ended, I caught up to her near the elevators. "Morning," I said. "Morning." She pressed the button, glancing at the floor numbers. Like they mattered? "Sleep okay?" Her lips curved slightly. "Not really, because if she cut me off. Don't ask here." We stepped into the elevator. No one else joined. "You're quiet," I said. "You're staring," she countered. I looked away, smirking. "Maybe," she exhaled slowly. "It's weird acting normal after last night." "Yeah." When the doors opened, she walked out first. "Coffee after work?" she asked without looking back. "Sure." By the time 6 rolled around, we were in a little cafe down the street. She slid into the booth beside me instead of across. "The music's too loud over there," she said, nodding toward the other tables. "Right," I said, though it wasn't that loud. Her knee brushed mine as she reached for the menu. She didn't move it. "What's good here?" she asked. "It depends if you want coffee or an excuse to stay longer." Her smile appeared, small but real, maybe both. I flagged the waiter, and we ordered. When he left, she leaned in slightly. "Ryan thinks I'm difficult. High maintenance. That I expect too much." I kept my tone even. "Do you?" "I expect respect. Is that too much?" "No," I said firmly. She studied me for a moment. "You always sound so sure." "That's because I know what I'm talking about." Her laugh was soft. "Maybe you're just biased." "Maybe," I admitted, when our drinks arrived. She thanked the waiter, but kept her attention on me. "You didn't text me last night," she said. "I thought you might need space. Or maybe you needed it." Maybe I repeated, though. The truth was, I'd wanted to text her all night. Her fingers traced the edge of her cup. I keep replaying last night in my head. You letting me just sit there, not talking, just being there? "That's what friends do," I said, though. My voice caught slightly. She tilted her head. "Is that what we are?" I met her eyes. "I thought so." Her knee pressed a little harder into mine. "I don't think Ryan would agree." "That's because he doesn't know me," I said. "He thinks he does." I smiled faintly. "Then maybe he's wrong." She laughed again, and her hand landed on mine in the middle of the table. Just a casual touch, except she didn't take it back. "You're warm again," she said. "Still not that cold in here." She leaned closer, lowering her voice. "Then maybe it's me." I didn't answer. For a moment, we just listened to the hum of the cafe around us. "You're thinking too much," she said, "and you're not thinking enough." She grinned. "Maybe I'm done thinking for tonight." 8. When we finished our drinks, I stood. "I'll walk you to your car." She shook her head. "Drive me home." "All right." We stepped into the cool night air, the streetlights casting long shadows. "Which way?" I asked, when we reached the car. She hesitated before answering. "I'll tell you as we go." "That's mysterious. Maybe I like keeping you guessing." As I pulled into traffic, she leaned back in her seat, watching the passing lights. "You know," she said, "I don't think I've ever been this honest with anyone in one day. Is that good or bad?" "Both." She looked at me then, and something in her gaze made my grip on the wheel tighten. "Left here," she said softly. I turned. "So where are we going? You'll see." Her voice was calm, but I could feel my pulse in my throat. Asterisk. "Left again," Emily said quietly. We'd been driving for 20 minutes with no clear destination. The city glowed in the distance, streetlights blurring through the windshield. "You gonna tell me where we're going?" I asked. She smirked. Faintly. "Let's just drive for a bit. It's not ominous at all." Her laugh was soft, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You'll live." I followed her directions until she pointed to a small pull-off overlooking the city. I cut the engine, and silence settled between us, broken only by the faint hum of traffic far below. "It's beautiful," I said. "Yeah." She hugged her arms. "I come here when I need to think." "What are you thinking about now?" Her gaze stayed on the skyline. "How stuck I feel." "In what way?" "In every way." She took a shaky breath. Ryan and I, we're not good anymore. But it's like, if I leave, I'm the villain. And if I stay, I'm miserable. I rested my arm on the steering wheel. That doesn't sound like much of a choice. I've been with him 3 years. You don't just walk away from that. You do if it's hurting you. Why do you make it sound so simple? 'Cause from the outside it is. Her lips pressed together. From the inside, it's messy. And I'm scared of him. No, of me. Of who I'll be without him. The vulnerability in her voice made my chest tighten. You'll be Emily? And that's enough. Her eyes flicked to my mouth, just for a second. You always know what to say, don't you? Not always. Just when it matters. She shifted toward me, her knee brushing mine. That's dangerous. Didn't think words were dangerous. They are when they come from you. We sat there, the air between us heavy. I reached out without thinking, my hand brushing against hers. She didn't move away. Her voice dropped. You make me forget I have a boyfriend. That's not good. It's terrible, she agreed, but she didn't let go. Her breathing slowed. I could feel the warmth of her skin under my fingertips. Emily, I started. She looked up, and for a moment our faces were close enough that I could see the faint shimmer in her eyes. Her lips parted, her breath warm against mine. I froze. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like she could hear it. Then she stopped. A small, almost embarrassed laugh escaped her. You're dangerous, Nathan. The words hit harder than they should have. You think so? I know so. She leaned back, pulling her hand away. I can't do this. I swallowed hard. I wasn't asking you to. She gave me a sideways glance. You didn't have to. The tension didn't break. It just shifted, lingering like the last note of a song. I should get you home, I said finally. Yeah, she exhaled. But thanks for tonight, for listening. Always. We drove back in silence, the city lights passing like ghosts outside the window. When I pulled up in front of her building, she hesitated before opening the door. Good night, Nathan. Good night. She stepped out, closing the door softly. Behind her, I sat there for a moment, gripping the steering wheel, before my phone lit up on the passenger seat. A text from Mark, a mutual friend. You should know her boyfriend thinks you're into her. My pulse jumped. And for the first time tonight, I couldn't tell if Mark was wrong. Asterisk, I just sat down at my desk when I saw him. Ryan Blake, leaning against the reception counter like he owned the place. He spotted me instantly. Nathan, right? That's me. His smile was thin. Heard a lot about you. Same, I lied. Emily walked out of the elevator, surprise flashing across her face. Ryan, what are you doing here? Thought I'd pick you up for lunch. His eyes didn't leave me. Didn't know you were so busy making friends. Emily's tone sharpened. Nathan's a coworker. Sure. He glanced at her, then back at me. See you around. They left together, but not before she gave me a quick look. A silent apology I wasn't sure I could accept. The rest of the day dragged. By the time I was packing up, my phone buzzed. Emily, meet me at Harbor Bar. It's just to talk. I should have said no. Instead, I found myself sliding into a booth in the dimly lit corner of the bar 20 minutes later. You came, she said softly. You asked? She smiled, tired but genuine. Sorry about earlier. Ryan can be intense, I noticed. She toyed with her glass. He doesn't trust easily, or at all. Her knee brushed mine under the table. She didn't move it. I hate how he makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong when I'm not. I raised an eyebrow. You sure about that? Her lips curved just slightly. Are you? The air between us shifted thicker now. You know this is trouble. I said maybe. Her voice softened. But I've never met someone who gets me like you do. My throat tightened. You deserve to be understood. Her eyes searched mine. You make it sound so easy. It is, with the right person. She didn't answer, just slid her hand under the table until her fingers found mine. The contact was hidden from everyone else, but to me, it felt like a flare in the dark. Emily, I warned. I just need to feel like I'm not alone, she whispered. You're not. Her grip tightened, and we sat like that for a while, talking about everything but the thing we couldn't name. Work. childhood stories. The song playing faintly from the jukebox, but her hand never left mine. Eventually, I glanced at the time. "I should walk you to your car," she nodded, letting go reluctantly. Outside, the night air was cool, the parking lot quiet. We stopped beside her car, neither of us moving to end it. She looked at me, the streetlight catching the gold in her hair. "Do you ever wish things were different?" My pulse jumped. Every day, her breath caught, but she didn't say anything else. She just unlocked the car and slid in, leaving me standing there wondering how many more lines we could cross. Before there was no turning back, she arrived without knocking. A bottle of wine in one hand and a small smile on her face. "I figured we could use this," she said, stepping inside. "You planning on drinking the whole thing yourself? Only if you make me?" I took the bottle from her, trying not to notice how her perfume seemed to settle into the room instantly. "Glasses are in the kitchen." They followed me, leaning against the counter while I poured. "You always have music on? Helps me think." "What's this one?" "Some old jazz playlist." "It feels safe," she said, taking her glass. "Like nothing bad can happen here." That's optimistic. We moved to the couch. She curled up beside me, legs tucked under her, one knee brushing my thigh. "I have to show you this," she said, pulling out her phone. I leaned in, but she stayed closer than necessary. "What am I looking at? A photo from college?" "Don't laugh." Smirked. "You had bangs, and bad ones." "Shut up." Her shoulder pressed into mine. She scrolled through more pictures, narrating small stories between sips of wine. I kept telling myself to shift away. I did. At some point, the screen dimmed and we just stayed there. "You're staring," she said quietly. "Am I?" Her lips curved. "Yes." I swallowed hard. "Maybe you're just imagining it." "I'm not." Our eyes locked. My pulse thudded in my ears. She didn't move. "Neither did I, Emily." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Nathan," I started. To lean in, it wasn't a decision, more like gravity. My breath mixed with hers, the warmth between us tightening like a wire. Then she turned her head, laughing softly. "We can't." My chest ached from the sudden space between us. Her hand stayed in mine, though, fingers tangled like she couldn't quite let go. "You know, we can't." "I know." I sat in silence, the jazz filling in what we wouldn't say. Finally, she glanced at the clock. "I should go." I walked her to the door, still feeling the phantom heat of her shoulder against mine, as she stepped outside. I caught sight of a dark car parked halfway down the street. Recognition hit like ice. Ryan's. I'd just stepped out of the office when I saw him. Ryan was leaning against my car like he owned it. "We need to talk," he said. "I'm late for a meeting. This won't take long." He pushed off the car and came closer. "You think I don't see what you're doing?" I frowned. "I'm working." "That's it." His smirk was slow, deliberate. "Working, right? Is that what you call hanging around Emily?" "She's a coworker, a friend. Friends don't look at her the way you do." I felt heat crawl up my neck. "You're imagining things." He stepped closer until I could smell his cologne. "Stay away from her." "Mean it, Nathan? You don't want me as an enemy." I didn't blink. "Are you threatening me?" He tilted his head. "Call it a warning." I let out a sharp breath. Message received. He grinned like he'd won and walked away, leaving the air heavier than before. By the time I got home, my phone was buzzing. I stared at the screen, debating. The memory of Ryan's eyes made me hesitate. The third call came before I could. "Put it down," I answered. "Emily." Her voice was shaky. Can I come over? It's late. I'm already here." My stomach tightened. I opened the door to find her standing there, hair messy, eyes red. "What happened?" She stepped inside without answering. He yelled at me. "Said things I can't." Her voice cracked. I closed the door. "Did he hurt you?" Just his words. I guided her to the couch. "Sit, breathe." She sank down, clutching her arms. I hate when he looks at me like I'm property. I sat beside her.
"You're not."
She turned her face toward me, eyes glistening. "Then why does it feel like I am?" I hesitated, then wrapped an arm around her. She leaned in, trembling, her forehead brushing my neck. Her heartbeat pounded against my chest. You shouldn't be here, I whispered. I know, but you're the only one I feel safe with. I held her tighter. Emily, she didn't move. Neither did I. The world felt muted, except for her breathing. When she finally pulled back, her hands lingered on my chest. Thank you. For what? For being you. She leaned in and pressed her lips to my cheek, slow, deliberate. The warmth of it stayed long after she pulled away. And just like that, she was at the door again. Leaving me with the ghost of her touch and the weight of Ryan's warning, Emily was curled up on the couch beside me, scrolling through her phone. She laughed softly. What's so funny? I asked. Nothing. Something my friend sent. She locked her screen and set the phone down. I'll be right back. She disappeared into the bathroom, leaving the phone face up on the cushion. I wasn't looking for trouble, but the vibration caught my eye. A preview lit up the screen. So is Nathan better than Ryan? My chest tightened. Better? How? I stared at the words until they blurred. She'd been talking about me. By the time she came back, I had already forced my face into something neutral. You okay? She asked. Fine, I said, just thinking about work. She sank back into her spot. You think about work too much? Maybe, and my voice sounded steady. My head wasn't. She smiled faintly as if nothing in the world was off. I let the moment pass. 3 days later, my phone lit up with her name. Coffee. My treat. I know. A quiet place. I typed back. When? Now. Half an hour later, I was walking into a small cafe tucked between two empty storefronts. She was already there, waving from a corner booth. You found it, she said as I slid in across from her. Hard to miss your directions. She handed me a menu. You'll like their cappuccino. Trust me. I glanced at her. Trust is a big word. She tilted her head. Do you? Do I what? Trust me, I hesitated. Most days. Her lips curved, not quite a smile. That's something we ordered. The silence between us was warm, not awkward. But my mind kept circling the message I'd seen. She leaned forward, resting her elbows on the table. You're quieter than usual. Long week. She reached across the table, her fingers brushing my hair back from my forehead. Better. Froze. What was that for? You looked tense. I searched her face. Is this comfort or temptation? She didn't blink. Can't it be both? The air between us shifted. I felt the pull, the same dangerous gravity that had been growing for weeks. Our drinks arrived, breaking the moment. She sipped her cappuccino. See? Worth the trip. I nodded, though I barely tasted mine. She glanced at her phone, then set it face down. Can I ask you something? Go ahead. You think people can love two people at once? I stared. At her? Is that a hypothetical? Maybe? I think I set my cup down. I think they can want two people at once. Love's different. Her eyes held mine. What if they don't know which one is real, and they're playing with fire? Maybe they like the heat, she murmured. We left just as the sun dipped low, the streetlights flickering on. She walked beside me, our hands almost brushing. When we reached the door, I saw him, Ryan. He was leaning against the wall. Arms crossed, eyes locked on us. Ryan's voice cut through the street noise. Emily, she froze. I stopped beside her. What are you doing here? She asked, her tone sharp. I could ask you the same thing, he said. Or should I ask Nathan? I stepped forward. Ryan, this isn't. He held up a hand. Save it. I know what's going on. You don't, I said. His smirk was slow. You think I can't see it? The way she looks at you? Emily's jaw tightened. Stop. You were mine, Ryan said to her, ignoring me. I'm not property, she snapped. That's not what I meant. It's what you made me. Feel. She grabbed my wrist. We're leaving. Ryan's voice followed us. You'll regret it. We didn't speak until we were inside my apartment. She let go of my wrist, pacing. I can't believe him, she said, voice shaking. He was angry, I said quietly. Angry? He humiliated me. In front of you. I'm here, I said. She stopped pacing. I know. I watched her shoulders rise and fall. Do you want something to drink? No. She stepped closer instead. I just don't want to go back. Tonight, her arms slid around me from behind, holding tight. Could feel her breath against my back. Emily, my voice came out low. Just stay like this for a second. I covered her hands with mine. Her grip didn't loosen. You're shaking, I said. I don't want to be alone, she whispered. You're not. She let go and moved around to face me. Her eyes searched mine before she sank onto the couch. I sat beside her. Neither of us spoke. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and my chest felt too small for my heart. This is nice, she said after a while. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I felt safe, I swallowed. You should. She looked up at me.
With you?
I do. The words landed somewhere deep, but something in her gaze made me hesitate. You're quiet again, she said, thinking I murmured. About whether this is a good idea. She smiled faintly. Maybe it isn't, then why are we here? Her eyes softened. 'Cause I wanted to be. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. I glanced at the screen. A photo. Emily and me at the cafe. Below. She's using you. Asterisk. I set my phone on the table between us. We need to talk. Emily glanced at the screen. What's this? You tell me, I said. A photo of us. And a message, she's using you. Her expression didn't shift right away, but her eyes flickered. Nathan, don't. I cut in. Just tell me the truth. She took a slow breath. It's not what it looks like. Then explain it. Her gaze dropped to her hands. I wanted Ryan to see us. The words landed like a punch. Why? To make him jealous? I stared at her. That's it? Her voice softened. I thought if he thought I was moving on, he'd back off. Maybe he'd finally leave me alone. And you thought I'd be what, some decoy? She flinched. Not like that. It sounds exactly like that. She looked up quickly. You mean more to me than that? I leaned back, trying to steady my breathing. Do I? Yes, she said, almost desperate. I shook my head. Everything we've done, every conversation, was part of some game with him? It wasn't a game, she said. I just didn't know what else to do, so you used me. She reached across the table. I care about you, Nathan. Her hand was warm, but it felt wrong now. I didn't take it. You could have told me, I said. I was afraid you'd walk away. You should have been more afraid of this, I said quietly. She pulled her hand back slowly, as if the distance between us had turned to ice. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. You did anyway. Her eyes glistened, but I couldn't tell if it was guilt or just another layer of the act. Say something, she pleaded. I don't know what's real anymore. It's real, she said. What I feel for us, it's real. I searched her face for proof, but the doubt was louder than her words. I can't do this, I said finally. She stood, hesitating like she wanted to close the gap, but knew it would make things worse. I'm sorry, I didn't answer. She walked to the door, pausing with her hand on the knob. You're not just some piece in a fight with him. You have to know that. I didn't move. When the door clicked shut behind her, the apartment felt heavier than before. Hours passed before my phone buzzed again. Ryan's message lit the screen. Thanks for doing my dirty work. There was a knock at my door just after midnight. When I opened it, Emily stood there, hair damp from the rain, eyes rimmed red. I ended it, she said, with Ryan. She nodded. It's over. I leaned on the doorframe. Why are you here? Her voice was barely above a whisper. Because you're the only one I wanted to tell. I stepped aside. Come in. She walked past me, dripping onto the floor. I thought I'd feel free. But I just feel empty. I closed the door. You made your choice, she turned. Do you hate me? I don't know what I feel anymore. Her lips trembled. I never wanted to hurt you. You did anyway. I know, she moved. Closer, and I can't undo that. I kept my arms crossed. So what do you want from me now? She swallowed. One last thing. Just hold me. I stared at her, searching for the trap. Why? Because if I walk away without this, I'll regret it forever. Her eyes didn't waver. For a moment, I almost believed her. I sighed. Emily, please, she said, stepping forward. She wrapped her arms around me before I could stop her. Her face pressed into my chest, the scent of rain and something faintly sweet surrounding me. I hesitated, then let my arms slide around her. Her body was warm, trembling slightly like she was. Holding back more than words, we stayed like that, neither speaking. Her voice finally broke the silence. I wish I could start over with you. Can't, I said quietly. I know. Her fingers curled into my shirt, but I can wish. I felt her heartbeat through the thin fabric between us. I used to think moments like this meant everything. Now it felt like a memory forming in real time, something I'd look back on and not know if it was real. She pulled back just enough to look at me. You still mean something to me? I met her gaze. And why does it feel like nothing? Now, her breath caught. Because I ruined it. Yeah, I said. You did. We stood there, eyes locked, until she stepped away completely. The space she left behind felt colder than the rain outside. Goodbye, Nathan, she said, almost too softly to hear. I didn't answer. The door closed, and I stayed where I was, hands still hanging uselessly at my sides. Weeks later, I spotted her across the street, laughing with someone new. She didn't see me. Asterisk another coffee? Jamie asked, leaning over my desk. I shook my head. If I have more, I'll start hearing colors. He smirked. Still working late every night? Helps me sleep. He gave me a look. Or helps you avoid thinking. I didn't answer you. Should come out with us tonight, he said. Miller's is doing live music. Miller's is her place, I said before I could stop myself. Jamie raised his brows. Still avoiding it? Yeah. I tapped my pen against the desk. Still avoiding it. He started to say something else, but the phone rang, saving me from explaining more. Hours later, I stepped outside, the cold air biting against my face. The street was crowded, but my head felt quiet for the first time all day. Halfway down the block, I caught at her perfume. I froze. It was the same warm, sweet scent I'd memorized without meaning to. The one that used to linger on my clothes long after she'd gone. I turned fast, heart already racing. But it wasn't her. Just a stranger in a navy coat. Walking away without a glance, I let out a slow breath and kept moving. Inside, something twisted, half relief, half disappointment. When I reached the crosswalk, my phone buzzed. Jamie again. You okay? I typed back. Yeah, just a long day. It was a lie, but easier than telling the truth. At home, tossed my jacket onto the couch and sat in the dark for a while. My mind kept circling back to that scent, how for 2 seconds it had felt like she was right there, about to tap my shoulder. I poured a glass of water and leaned against the counter. The last time she'd been here, she'd sat on the edge of that couch, hair falling into her face, laughing at something I can't even remember now. But I remember the way her head fit against my shoulder later, like it belonged there. It hadn't. I just wanted it to. The next morning at work, Jamie slid a folder onto my desk. Big client wants changes by Friday. Perfect, I said. Give me more to drown in. He gave me a sideways glance. You ever going to talk about it? No, fair enough. He walked away. The week blurred into a string of late nights and early mornings. By Friday, I'd almost convinced myself I'd stopped thinking about her. Almost on the way home, I passed the park we used to cut through. My feet slowed before I could stop them. It was nearly empty, the air crisp, the wind sharp enough to sting. Sat on a bench for a minute, watching the branches sway. Still haunted? A voice asked. I looked up. It was Jamie, holding 2 paper cups. What are you doing here? Thought you might need company. He handed me a cup. Hot chocolate. Don't thank me all at once. I smirked. Thanks. We drank in silence. For a while, he said finally, sometimes you think you miss the person, but you just miss the version of yourself you were with them. I stared at the ground. Maybe, or maybe he went on, you just like the idea more than the reality. I let out a short laugh. You're surprisingly philosophical for a guy who eats pizza rolls at 3 a.m. Pain brings out my wisdom, he said, dead serious. I shook my head. She wasn't all bad. I'm sure she wasn't, but she also wasn't all good. I thought about that on the walk home. That night, I opened the windows just enough to let the breeze in. The air carried 100 smells rain on concrete. Someone's dinner from a floor below. Faint traces of perfume from people passing on the street. None of them were hers. And for the first time, it felt okay. I lay back on the couch. Phone in hand, my finger hovered over old messages, then moved past them. No point in reading what I already knew by heart. The truth was, I didn't need closure from her. I just needed to accept that the story had already ended. As I closed my eyes, thoughts settled in clear, steady, final. Some people hold you too long not because they want you to stay, but because they're afraid to let go. And sometimes letting go is the only thing left to do.